We're now going to move through the iterations, and the first one we're going to cover is fixed loop. And it can be known as a pretest, but we'll refer to this as fixed, and this fixed loop is a for loop. So in this case, we've got for I equals 1 to 5, output I, and then end 4. So we should have a result of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we go File, and New, Project, and this is going to be fixed for loop, and console application. Okay, so we start the loop for, all lowercase. So I is a variable, and in C# we have to declare what data type that is. So int I. Now this is one of the only situations where you would actually call a variable a shortened name like I or X or A. It's a throwaway variable, and it's one of the only times that it's reasonable to not call it something very specific. However, you can. That's the important point. So I equals 1, because we're going to count from 1. Now, that's not necessarily always the case, and something you should be aware of is if we're dealing with an array, for example, we should not count from 1. We should really start at 0 to maximize all the space being used in memory. Otherwise, we're just wasting space. So most of the time, it will start at 0. There's only specific reasons why you generally start it at 1, and it's very specific to any of the scenarios you're given. So, but generally, we would normally start this at 0. Okay, so I equals 1, and then while I is less than or equal to 5, keep going, and then we need to increment the I. So I plus plus. I plus plus is a shortened version of I equals I plus 1. We can type that. We could do I equals I plus 1. That's an alternative, but I plus is the nice shortened version of that. Okay, so we open curly brace and then immediately close curly brace. Get into that habit. Really encourage you to get into that habit. As soon as you open a curly brace, you close that curly brace. Okay, so now at this point we're just going to console.write line and then I close, and we terminate that line. Okay, so we have for the integer I equals 1, while I is less than or equal to 5. We're going to keep going, but we're going to increment the I. Okay, so Control F5 to run this. And there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as we expected. Now, something you always need to look out for is if we did the I less than 5, and then Control F5 and see what that does, we actually get this output 1, 2, 3, 4, because it doesn't actually reach 5. It reaches 5, but it drops out of the loop. So just something to be aware of. This is where in the exam, this is where they'll try and get you. Make sure you're aware of what number you're at and where you need to finish that count. Okay, so just watch out for that.